So you want to create something, whether it's write a script, make a film as a whole, make music, whatever it is, and you don't feel like you have any good ideas, whether or not that means just nothing is coming to you, or maybe you have some ideas, but you don't think that they're unique enough, or maybe they just don't have that whatever that is that makes you actually want to do it. It doesn't have that oomph, you know? Um, I would say the problem is not that you're not creative. The problem isn't that you can't create something. The problem is that you're not curating your pool of inspiration to really serve you as a creative. What do I mean by that? Now, first off, here's I think a misconception. A lot of filmmakers, actors, whatever, think that if they're going to do this, they need to constantly see all of the biggest projects, and they need to be up to date on everything that is popular and watch all the things that everybody else is watching, right? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that or that it's bad to do that, right? But if that's the only thing you're watching and everybody else is watching that, it's no wonder that like your ideas are feeling not unique because everybody's watching the same thing. I mean, you're not going to, that's your pool of inspiration. So you got to diversify it. I would suggest going and watching some old movies, listening to some old music. If something catches your eye, research it and go down a rabbit hole. Don't be afraid to learn more and more about one specific project or genre or topic, whatever it is, right? But I think that even beyond that, beyond literally taking in other art, forms of art, you should seek to find art and inspiration in your everyday life, in natural occurrences. If you're doing the same thing every day, over and over and over again, and it becomes really mundane, you're robbing yourself of experiences. And experiences are what ignite thoughts, which can be then used to create things, right? If you get invited to do something really weird, a random experience that maybe you wouldn't have thought of, somebody says, hey, I'm going rock climbing. You want to come? Go do that. You never know what's going to happen, what you're going to see, the kind of people around you that you're not usually, exposed to might give you some ideas. It will create a new, unique experience. Do more stuff like that. You have to add a level of unpredictability to, maybe not every day. I know that's not realistic for everybody, but at least ideally a couple times a week, if not maybe a couple times a month. Go do something. And going to do something doesn't have to mean it has to be something where you need to spend your money. You could go to the park. There's a lot of people in a public park. There's a lot of potential experiences that you can have. You could also go with the intention of trying to find things. Bring a notebook and actually write down the things that you see. A lot of people do this. This is a common thing for writers and creators all the time. But you also don't have to people watch strangers to, get some ideas, to get experiences. You can just think of a fun conversation to bring up, with someone in your family or one of your friends, and maybe this is maybe a little controversial, but try to talk about something with someone that you might not be 100% sure how they're going to react to, and you'd be surprised. You might be surprised what kind of response that they'll give. And also, not for nothing, but a lot of the old people in your life, right? I'm using that term very loosely. But a lot of the old people in your life, they have a lot of great stories. So pry, pick, see what it's going to take to ignite them. You never know where a funny moment or a deep meaning, like you never know what can inspire a deeper story by just a simple anecdote from someone that you know. The other day, this was unwarranted. My father told me this story about how he used to be like the handyman for this building years ago, 30 years ago maybe. And he said there was one time where he showed up to check the building, and he saw these guys trying to break in to the window through the window. They're trying to, I don't know, bust it open or something. And my dad's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And they look at him and they just kind of stare at him blankly. And then they show the FBI badge. It turns out it was FBI. And I guess one of the guys who rented one of the rooms in this building was doing some shady stuff. And the FBI were trying to get, raid his space or whatever it is. And they're looking at my father, and my father's just like, "Okay, please don't break." He sees the FBI. He sees that they're FBI. He sees the badge, and he's like, "Oh, don't break it. I have to fix it." And then they're just kind of staring at him, and he's like, "Please, you want to go in there? That's fine, but don't break it. I have to fix it." And then they start laughing, right? Because it's like, it's funny that my dad had the audacity to say that, right? Because that's just the kind of person he is. He doesn't give a fuck. But then you get this really like deadpan, awkward moment where the FBI is like, "Okay, well, would you rather us, break in the window or the door? I mean, like we have to get in somehow." And my father's like, "I don't care, just least amount of damage possible. That's what you need to do." And they just kind of look at each other and they're like, "Okay." And now there's like an awkward moment where like they're trying to figure it out. These are like, and he told me that story, and I was like, "Why have you never told me that before? That's hilarious." Right? So it's just, you never know where you're going to find it. And this is a sidebar, but don't be afraid to incorporate the people that inspire you, that maybe are very charismatic and are storytellers in their own right into your projects. Like, you never know who's going to be excited to be involved with these kind of things. And what's really beautiful about creativity and in the experience of it all is how these things bring people together, and they're fun. It's not just a job. It's genuinely healing for a lot of people. This past winter, there was an incident with this huge blizzard that we had, where my neighbor actually stuck up for me and was yelling at the guy across the street because he was giving me crap for like shoveling the snow, out from around my girlfriend's car, and like kind of it bleeding into the sidewalk a little bit, because it was like 3 feet of snow. There was like nowhere for the snow to go, and this guy had a big snowblower and he was complaining about it, right? Anyway, I digress. Unimportant details aside, like them going back and forth was actually really funny. And he had a lot of energy, and I really appreciated him sticking up for me, but I also like kind of got inspired by that reaction, and me and him got closer after that. And we would start to talk more, and then I realized he was really, really good at telling stories. And so I was like, I want to get this guy in front of the camera. So now he's in my next short that I'm working on. And he was like a little shy about it at first, but when he did it, he was having so much fun. And that's what it's all about, man. You got to involve people in your life who inspire you. I think finding ways to incorporate people who don't even realize they're creative into projects is one of the most fun things about the entire process itself. Biggest thing to take away from this is that if you only like something because you feel like everybody else likes it, then you're doing a disservice to not only yourself, but the world, because you're robbing the world of potentially what could be a really unique experience coming from you and your individual experiences. So go have those experiences and then come back and make some good shit, man. Let's go.